the leader of the opposition was just a rubber stamp. Someone who happily claimed, "I eat politicians for breakfast." The EC needs to be transparent and not opaque.
Views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal and do not reflect the views of any organization.
Namaskar dosto. Hello and welcome to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. And the title today should tell you what I'm going to talk about. Election Commissioner Haazir Ho. We are putting the microscope on the contentious office of the election commissioners of this country. This week, the country got a new Chief Election Commissioner in Ganesh Kumar, who took over from Rajiv Kumar, whose term, or rather contentious term, ended this week. Now, in normal times, you would think that this was a normal routine handover from one Kumar to another. After all, Ganesh Kumar is at the moment the senior most serving election commissioner. So in normal course, he would be expected to become the chief election commissioner when the position fell vacant. The problem, my friends, is we do not live in normal times when it comes to politics. Not surprisingly, therefore, the appointment of the chief election commissioner has got tangled in bruising politics, with the leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, making a serious allegation, accusing the Modi government of a midnight coup and a betrayal of the constitution. We will come to the politics of Modi versus Rahul on another day, but first, chronology samajhiye. Understand the chronology. It was in March 2023, my friends, that the Supreme Court ruled that a proper law needed to be in place to ensure independence in the appointment of election commissioners. Until a law was framed, the court ruled that a 3-member selection committee with the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition and the Chief Justice of India would be responsible for appointing election commissioners. This, it seems, was designed to ensure some element of fairness in the selection panel that was tasked with these appointments. Then what happens? Well, within months, the Modi government, in August of 2023, ahead of the next cycle of elections, changes the panel to include now the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, and a minister of the Prime Minister's choice. Out goes the Chief Justice, in comes a minister. And not surprisingly, the minister in this instance is none other than Home Minister Amit Shah, the Prime Minister's main man for all seasons. This new panel, without the Chief Justice in it, meant that the government now had a clear 2-1 majority in making appointments to the sensitive post of election commissioners. A petition was then filed by activists and some NGOs involved in democracy activism in the Supreme Court, challenging this new law. The matter drags on, and the next hearing was scheduled on February 19 this year. That's earlier this week. But guess what? Rajiv Kumar was retiring on the 18th. So what does the government do? It promptly calls a meeting on the 17th evening. Rahul Gandhi, as leader of the opposition, moves a dissent note and says and argues that the meeting should be postponed till the Supreme Court finally hears the matter on appointments of election commissioners. Guess what? Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah overruled Rahul Gandhi. His dissent is disregarded, and the same night the government appoints Ganesh Kumar as the new Chief Election Commissioner. Who is Ganesh Kumar? He's a Kerala cadre IAS officer. Many of his peers I spoke to say he was a good officer. But in recent years, he has moved to Delhi, and in Delhi has been working in close proximity with Mr. Amit Shah in particular. He was Secretary Parliamentary Affairs and later Secretary Cooperatives. As Secretary Cooperatives, he was reporting into the Minister, that's Mr. Shah. He was also part of the Home Ministry as Additional Secretary when Article 370 was revoked in Jammu and Kashmir by the Modi government in 2019. And he was interestingly also involved in the setting up of the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirtha Kshetra Trust as a result of the Ayodhya judgment. Net, Gyanesh Kumar is seen, because of the many key tasks he's been involved in recent years, at least in the eyes of the opposition, as Amit Shah's main man. This has led to Rahul Gandhi claiming that his appointment is a midnight coup. Now you could argue, as the centre is arguing, that there is no coup here. Gyanesh Kumar's appointment is routine because it has followed the procedure as laid out by the law. But please don't forget, this is the very procedure that is under challenge in the apex court. Don't also forget that while there is a law on paper, there is also the spirit of the court's original ruling in 2023, which clearly was designed to create a balance in the manner in which these appointments were made by the panel. Sadly, my friends, no one cares about the spirit of the law in this country anymore. Do you know that when Gyanesh Kumar was appointed as an election commissioner first in March last year, just ahead of the general elections, the decision was taken overnight with seemingly little or no discussion on the 6 shortlisted names. The then Congress leader of the opposition, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, claimed publicly that he was a mere spectator at a very short meeting. The decision on appointments had already been taken, he claimed, when he went for the meeting. In effect, the leader of the opposition was just a rubber stamp. The question therefore is this really how appointments should be made to important sensitive posts like election commissioners? Now, I've heard several government functionaries arguing in the last few days that when the Congress was in power for several decades, they didn't even have a leader of the opposition on any selection panel. Decisions would then be taken by the Prime Minister's office or whoever was the Congress High Command and simply conveyed to the opposition as a fait accompli. It is argued that election commissioners appointed during the Congress regimes were therefore proximate to the Congress leadership at the time. The late Naveen Chawla, who became Chief Election Commissioner during the UPA government, for example, had worked closely with Sanjay Gandhi during the emergency and was considered by many within the government as being close to 10 Janpath. And MS Gill became a union minister in the UPA government a few years after he had served as a Chief Election Commissioner. And don't forget the ideological views of another Chief Election Commissioner, Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, was seen by the opposition then to mirror that of the anti-BJP forces, especially when it came to the need to preserve secular values. Interestingly, T.N. Seshan, the most well-known Chief Election Commissioner, the one who gave a face and an identity in the 1990s to the post of Election Commissioner, who until then was seemingly an unknown public figure, had served as Cabinet Secretary in the Rajiv Gandhi government. However, no one called Seshan a Rajiv man, and in fact, as CC, he took on the Narasimha Rao Congress government at the time, eventually leading to the formation of a multi-member election commission to curb Seshan's powers. Truth is, Seshan as Chief Election Commissioner showed that he was a man with a mind and a spine of his own, perhaps even consumed, some would say, by his own ego, someone who happily claimed, "I eat politicians for breakfast." Which brings me, my friends, to the core point. Between the Seshan model of a Chief Election Commissioner who was attempting to be projected as an anti-establishment hero and Chief Election Commissioners who are seen increasingly to be simply their master's voice, surely there is place for someone who is not just neutral but is seen to be neutral. After all, at the very heart of a Chief Election Commissioner's role is neutrality in law and practice. It is that basic concept of neutrality which is being questioned in these hyper-polarized times. Forget their political affiliations. Chief election commissioners in the end must be and will be judged by their actions in the hot seat above all else. Unfortunately, in recent times, it is those actions that are being increasingly questioned and coming under the scanner. Take a look, for example, in the manner in which election calendars are being decided. During the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, for example, Maharashtra with 48 seats had a 5-phase poll. Tamil Nadu with 39 seats had a single-phase poll. Odisha with just 21 seats had a multi-phase 4-phase poll, even though it's a much smaller state. Even the Maharashtra Vidhan Sabha election dates were pushed back to post-Diwali instead of being held as previously along with Haryana. It was during the festive season that a Ladki Bahin welfare scheme bonus amount, extra amount, was given to poor women in Maharashtra. Many believe this proved to be the real game changer. Let's stay with Maharashtra and raise an even more serious concern involving the Election Commission. Between the Lok Sabha elections, listen carefully, between the Lok Sabha elections in May 2024 and the Vidhan Sabha in Maharashtra in November, Maharashtra saw as many as 40 lakh net addition of voters, which is more than all the voters added in the previous 5 years, when 32 lakhs was the net addition. Was there a sudden population explosion in Maharashtra? Where did all these new voters come from? The EC may well have a good explanation for this. But whatever it is, it needs to be made public in detail. Prima facie, surely, there is a need for electoral rolls to be subject to greater transparency and scrutiny in every state of this country, especially all the additions and deletions that are being made to these electoral rolls. Let us also not forget, my friends, that the Election Commission in recent times has been reluctant to issue a red card to ruling party politicians, many of whom are accused of brazen hate speech in clear violation of the Model Code of Conduct. Remember the Prime Minister's famous Baswada or infamous Baswada hate speech in 2024, when he warned the audience that Mangal Sutras could be snatched away by Ghuspetiyas. Instead of sending a notice directly to the Prime Minister, the Election Commission rather cautiously chose to send a notice weeks later to the leader of the BJP, JP Nadda, and then, to be seen as balanced, also sent one to Mallikarjun Kharge of the Congress as well. Don't also forget that when an election commissioner, Ashok Lavasa, wanted to give a dissent note on violations by government ministers of the Model Code of Conduct in 2019, he suddenly found that his family was being targeted by government agencies, and he eventually resigned from the commission a year later. More recently, in the Delhi elections, when the BJP was able to tom-tom the union budget tax cuts in its advertisements just ahead of the polling, the EC did not say a word. This even though the same EC had earlier warned that nothing in the union budget should be announced with an eye on the Delhi polls, since the code of conduct was in place. Truth, my friends, is that the Election Commission's office in recent times is facing a serious crisis of credibility. To restore it, the EC needs to be transparent and not opaque. Not just be neutral, but be seen to be neutral. I know that's not easy, perhaps in these hyper-polarized political times when every institution is under siege. But that makes it all the more important that at least the process of appointments is above all controversy, and that decisions taken by the Commission must be open to challenge and public scrutiny within a fixed time period. And yes, the concerns must be addressed by the Election Commission. Is that too much to ask? That was the Straight Bat. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind, Namaskar.